Yeah, the one thing, you know this, but I'll say it anyway, You cannot use your mind to control your mind. It just does not work, you know. It just, you know, uh, creates a lot of tension, dissatisfaction. It doesn't work. I think you understand when I say you use space to control your mind. So when I had all that cranky stuff going on, what did I do? I released it into space. I didn't try to stop it, didn't control it, didn't really judge it. It's just confusion. The example they give, is like mistaking somebody in a bear costume for a real bear. Once you know it's not a real bear, you can play along, How's that? Do you want to ask me questions or anything not clear? Is that goodbye, Craig? I can't hear you. Okay, I think it was a goodbye.
It was very clear.
When you land there, they talk about great spaciousness. It's called Longchen, vast expanse. There's just this huge space comes.
Can I say something, Martin?
Yes, please.
And it's nothing to do with anything you're saying.
Okay.
Tell me if it's not relevant. I was down during the week down in Dzogchen Beara, and goodness, the last time we were there was 28 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, before any of the new part was built, and it felt. The spiritual care center really touched me deeply.
Ah.
The intention, because we were aware of it being built, and the intention and the detail that went into it was really touching, and the whole space, and oh goodness, it really touched me. And the spaciousness, like you were talking about there, the spaciousness that it allowed everybody was extraordinary. Really, really deeply touching. And it was just magic. And then all the work that we've done with you, bringing it there was quite something.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, really. Yeah, very, very, very special.
Dzogchen Beara has certain energy,
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a bit raw, as nature is, So it's not just for the people, particularly for the poor devils who are working there. I shouldn't be saying these things, should I? Particularly for them, it can be difficult for them, and but it works. Do you know what I mean by the raw kind of thing? You must know, for goodness sake, you're the raw thing in nature. It's not just all lovey-dovey. There's an energy. There's a particular kind of dynamic in Dzogchen Beara. It's said to be one of the holy places on the earth. One of the Indian masters said that. A Hindu, actually, not a Buddhist master.
I believe it, but particularly I think for people who are sick.
Mm.
Particularly, I haven't experienced that level of awareness before,
Fantastic.
and really, and it felt like it was something I could bring home here. There's a connection.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was really, really surprised, really quite something, as well as all the nature and everything. But yeah, it was something.
Great. I'm just so delighted. Yeah. That's good.
Hi, Martin.
Yes, Mark.
I just want to clarify something with you about your example. It's really nice whenever you use an everyday example because we have those things going on in our lives every day. So I used to be in this job. I'm not in it anymore, and I left, but I left under very bad circumstances because something happened there. But I was in my garden this week, and the girls that I used to work with, I could find myself getting angry and thinking about them. But I was very aware, like I was so aware that I was doing it. And I don't want to go there. I wanted to enjoy the garden, but I'm trying to think now. I did manage to drop it. But I just want to clarify what you like when you say you dropped it, connecting to presence, do you mean like listen to the sound of the dishwasher or listen to banging the plates or whatever,
Yeah. That.
do you listen to sounds to drop it when you say you connect to presence just for future going ahead because I'm going to have these times again and I want to to drop it. I want to get
Okay. So it actually depends on how much you've trained in meditation. That if you've trained in meditation, and this is why I was making the joke about an advanced practitioner like me, that when you've trained in meditation, the dropping is very easy. Right? When you're not so stable in your recognition of your nature, when you're not so stable like that, then just simply paying attention to putting the plate up into the cupboard or something like that, that helps. That definitely helps, But you see, the point that I was trying to make, the point I was trying to make is that you begin to see these things not so much as being real, but as being confusion. This was the point. So when you see, I'm just this is just confusion, then it's not. You don't have to deal with it. There's a critical point. You don't have to deal. See, this is what I mean as well about using your mind to try and control your mind. You don't have to deal with it. The secret is to release the grasping. Was that any use, Maura?
Yeah.
You see this. Sorry, please.
You release the grasping, knowing that it's confusion. It's not reality, really. Yeah.
And you see, what's in this is you're not actually rejecting it. You see, if you reject it, it gains strength. If you go along with it, it's one. Do you get this? There's this kind of do you get this point? Like if you go along with it, and you get and that bitch and all this stuff, if you go along with it, it's one. The confusion is one.
Yeah.
If you reject it, say, oh no, I'm in the garden, go away. You're not welcome here. You're giving it energy. You're making it solid. You're making it real. You're giving it authority. If you just simply release the grasping, it's difficult to explain, but I'm doing a reasonable job. If you just simply release the grasping, and maybe it's only for a couple of breaths that the release happens, But the thing that I kind of discovered this morning is that, the confusion is powerless when there's presence. As a matter of fact, this mightn't be quite right. I suspect the confusion is a little bit frightened of presence. It's not quite right, but it's close enough. Yes, Emer.
I think I had a funny example of confusion during the week that I just want to check was right. I was shown a video of ants, and they built it was a science experiment, and there was a table and it had a V, and they were going up and down the V, but then they built a bridge across themselves.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it was funny because the ants thought that it was a cost benefit something, I can't remember,
Yeah,
but they were
okay.
actually less of them were foraging, and I thought, oh, that's mental confusion right there in the animal kingdom. But I just want to check. I was like, did I get that right? The person who showed us was like, oh, ants are stupid, and I kind of thought, well, people can be too. So.
Yeah. You see, this is where I'm really hoping. What's the key kind of thing that I'm failing to communicate? The key thing that I'm failing to communicate is the difference between mental confusion and presence. That's what I'm failing to. But I'm keeping at it. So I'm keeping at it and keep trying.
Martin, I was going to ask you, when you're at the dishwasher and then you dropped it, was there anything that happened that helped you to see it?
No.
No.
My Saviour appeared. You heard me saying that. Presence.
Yeah.
Just like when you're meditating and you're lost. Right? Through the grace of God, although I don't believe in God. Through the grace of God, suddenly, bang, you're back. You're present. If anything, in a way, the fact that what was going on in my head was distasteful was actually like a little trigger. Not quite right, You get that point, yeah, okay.
That's one of the things that really struck me. It reminded me very strongly, Maura, when you were saying about being in the garden, and a garden is a kind of place that you can enjoy yourself, but you've all this stuff going on. I once had a massive argument with somebody who phoned me up despite my treatment to people not to phone me on these things. And she had just pissed me off so much. And I sent documents and everything like that, but she phoned me up nevertheless. While we had visitors, it was just so irritating. But I found myself, we went to France then, and I was doing some painting in the house outside, and I noticed I was up a ladder. It was like she was there on the fucking ladder with me. You should do this. You shouldn't be painting it like this. And I just saw the ridiculousness of it. It was really like she was there with me. It was like I couldn't
get away from I saw the ridiculousness of it. Like, it's just me on the ladder, you know? And as you say, Martin, when something is a bit distasteful, so I think that's another help, is kind of being in touch with yourself and how you feel about something.
Yeah.
When you see the ridiculousness of it or feel, oh, this isn't nice, you know, just it can be a real help. Because you know you don't want to be there. You don't want to be like that.
And you see, it's interesting. Shitty is not you. Do you know that's disgruntled, cranky thing? That's not you. I wanted to say a little bit for Emer as well too about the animals. Animals and most unenlightened human beings have a similar experience of reality, that they exist and that there's an outside world. That's the fundamental ignorance. Sometime we might just pull that apart and look at it. It's a very advanced topic. But basically, it's a failure to recognize presence and rather to see things as being external. That is the origin of all confusion. I don't want to go into it because it'll do your head in, but just to know that it's this, the word I use all the time, but this dualistic, it's this way of seeing things that is the origin of all our confusion. For example, just give very, if you feel sad, where is the sadness? Is it something out there that you are feeling? This is a very good example. Is it something out there that you feeling this sadness thing? Is there two things there? Okay. Don't go. Evelina, I think, is going to grill me here. No.
Martin, you said just before we get a grilling or anything, you said you didn't want to get into the philosophical thing. You said that earlier, you know. But you put it very simply. That cranky isn't you. So I think being able to know that, I think, is really helps.
Martin, I was just going to say, following up from an earlier conversation we had during the week, that the way you started this morning at the dishwasher there, and the difference between having had, a bit of a taste of these things or not, that basically sums up the precious to have such a, joyful to have such a precious human birth.
Yeah.
So.
Very good. So on Wednesday we're going to start Ngondro on Wednesday. And it's optional for people. I'll try and squeeze it in at the end so that it is optional, right? And so this is the start of the Ngondro. I'll give you the first part, the outer Ngondro. What it says is, some of you will be familiar with this, some of you won't be. It starts off and it says, joyful to have such a human birth, difficult to find, free and well favoured. I'll go into it. But death is real. It comes without warning. this body will be a corpse. Unalterable are the laws of karma. Cause and effect cannot be escaped. Samsara is an ocean of suffering, unendurable and unbearably intense. Recognizing this, may my mind turn towards practice. So, and so, basically, I'll do a little PDF of that, and this is something that if you want to do Ngondro practice, this is something you say every day. If you don't want to do Ngondro practice, you can still say it every day if you want or not. I don't mind. But it actually, it grounds you in reality. It's very good. This first part.
Martin,
Yes.
would that be possible to write it to us and send an email or?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'll do that as part. I'll do it before the Wednesday. I'll send it out, and I'll try and put it in nice so that you could.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Emer, ants are confused. All animals.
Yeah, and so that's why I was like, I'm also making the bridge confused as well instead of going up. Yeah, that was a good, thanks. And I can't make Wednesday, but the recording I will eagerly watch.
As long as I remember to put it on. Okay. Fantastic. Yeah.
Martin.
Yes.
Hi, Martin. It's Maeve. Sorry, my
Hi, Maeve. You're okay. Go on.
Just, do you think, the practice of, bringing love and kindness to your mind when you are aware of, oh my God, it's just the craziness of all the thoughts and then how we get into the habits. Just when you are aware of all the thoughts in your meditation, that love and kindness is actually strong enough to make the presence lengthier and actually strong enough to actually stay in the present.
It's a really good
If that
point.
makes sense.
That's a really good point, really good point. When you practice loving kindness as a practice, right, what happens is you become more you. You become more real. You become the uncranky one, right? So that does give strength. However, okay. The thing that I said, like what this requires a bit of discussion. The thing that I said about using your mind to control or fix. Hold on. Oh, we're okay. The thing about using your mind to fix your mind.
Yes.
Yeah, that's loving kindness. That's that practice.
Okay.
That's that practice. You're using your mind to fix your mind. In Buddha Dharma, in the teachings of the Buddha, there are 84,000 different methods.
Oh, jeepers.
The supreme method, which is what I'm trying to share, because, we don't have that long to live. Speak for yourself, Martin. We don't have that long. So my kind of thing is to try and give you the best, and that is the experience of presence. and how that alone in itself
It's the ultimate.
it is what frees the thoughts.
Okay.
You see, no, I'm not saying not to practice loving kindness. I'm definitely not saying that, because practicing loving kindness brings you closer to who you are, right? But when you're practicing meditation, this idea of release the grasping is the most important.
Yeah.
So when these thoughts and this craziness are there, right, from just like, it's like, how do you explain this? Oh yeah, it's kind of like this, you know. It's just like a love comes, a warmth comes. It's not a Go on, please.
Gareth, I think, when I am in the presence of, say, other people or doing the practice, it's like I don't have to invoke the loving kindness, but going about my day to day when I leave the practice or the environment, or it's like it's nearly too much just to be in present.
Yeah.
So it's like the loving kindness is like a bit of a stepping stone
Exactly.
in the day to day. So that
Exactly.
I think that makes it really clear, Martin.
Yes.
So thanks so much.
No, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And
Thanks so much.
but this particular meditation is worthwhile to do it purely, to do it just as this meditation, and not to mix it with other of the 84,000 different methods.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. I think we understand each other quite well. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's a wonderful question, Maeve, because because it really makes a distinction as well between what we try to do in meditation and the stuff that goes on in everyday life, you know. But what I found when I was hitting against difficulties, especially with others, that the loving kindness practice, that sure, the presence, but the loving kindness practice helped me to change over time, because it changed how I saw other people.
Yes.
And that was like a fundamental change that happened in me. The others didn't necessarily behave differently when I changed, but my whole attitude towards them became much more open, much more like the me that I'd like to be, the less than cranky one, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, that makes that's really clear. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And the presence meditation, like if the presence, the masters talk about short moments many times, you know, so you can become familiar. You know, you're not struggling, you're just, like what Martin's saying, you're just dropping 1 or 2 breaths. And when that's possible to do, that's great. You know, the more often you do that, the closer you become to the less than cranky you as well. It's like a reminder for who you really are.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm kind of inclined to say as well, you know, there's a sly reason why the masters say short moments many times, and that's because your experience of presence doesn't last very long.
Yeah.
So you just keep doing it. You just keep doing it. You just keep doing it. Okay. Dennis, I think, might be. He's coming or going? Going, I think. Okay. Helen.
Right.
Unmute there and
She's
say.
just waving goodbye.
Oh, she's waving goodbye. Oh, that's what that one is. Okay. See you,
Clapping,
Helen.
actually. I'm
She's
clapping.
clapping.
Oh, you're clapping. Okay.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, Helen.
Thanks, Helen.
Okay.
May everyone be free from confusion. See the ridiculousness of it? Yeah. I'm sure they really are.
You know, we're supposed to start with a motivation, you know. I have to say, you might find this amusing. You know, when we do these practices, like if you do it probably if you do it in Dzogchen Beara, they'll do it properly, you know. So you're supposed to start with motivation, and at the end of the practice you do dedication. It's said to be these are the there's three things. There's like motivation at the beginning, in the middle there's openness, and at the end there's dedication. So what is the motivation, you see? So the motivation is that may I personally free all sentient beings from suffering. May I establish them in happiness, and so on, you see? And may I be, you know, so that's a lovely idea. And a nice place to be coming from, you know. But it could be a trip.
A trip hazard.
Uh, like one nun I know, a Buddhist nun, you know, who's a quite serious person. She said, "We're not in this to be happy, you know. Sort of, we're here to serve sentient beings, you know." And my kind of thing is, well, if you're not serving them happiness, anyway.
Forgive them, for they know not what they do.
So I think it's wonderful to have like that kind of motivation, you know. But let's face it, you know, we're selfish people. You know, we just want a piece of happiness, you know, ourselves. And so that may be why I don't do it so much, or maybe I should do it more. Anyway, I'm nattering on now. I think we've run out of time. What do you think?
But Martin, is
Yeah.
it just good to have a motivation for yourself first? Because if you're free of this confusion and everything, well then everyone else will be okay.
Exactly. That's how it works. I really feel that's how it works.
Yeah.
So, like the way that they say it is, for the benefit of others longing to attain freedom. You know, that's a much nicer way than all the. You know, for the benefit of others longing to attain freedom, because then you can help. Until then,
I just think
Yeah.
something. I think dedication is really important for me because it
Okay.
takes it out of the personal and it helps me see what I'm going through
Yeah.
to help others. That it gives,
Uh,
I don't know, something. It's very helpful for me. The
Okay.
dedications. Mm.
You're right. It just anyway. Let's do one then. Shall we do one? Oh. So much unnecessary suffering. So much, so much. So much suffering that people manufacture themselves for themselves. You know, like stuck in a kind of like this prison, you know. Oh, like what we've done today, may that touch them, free them. May they release the grasping. That's it.